It became apparent quite early on that the burden of what we were going to have to contend with was going to have a huge effect on our lives, on our well-being. And I realised, I suppose, that on occasions we were going to have to be selfish for us to survive it. And this is where the support people, the Marie Curie nurses and the day carers were a huge help, because they were here and they could provide this buffer between Janet and what that entailed, because it was 24 hours of the day. We had a continual procession of strangers coming and going at all hours of the day and night, and certainly that took a little adjusting to. So we decided that we would set a few basic ground rules. I wrote out lists of who should do what, who was responsible for what, and made sure that the individuals involved were happy with that. And of course, the other thing was that if, heaven forbid, something had gone terribly wrong, at least there were some instructions to what was required in that situation. The other important thing was that I made sure that we had part of the house which was strictly ours, and basically was the upstairs of the house. The ground floor was taken over and it became a hospital ward, and it was on occasions total chaos. So your home suddenly wasn't a home, it was a care home. So it was very important, I felt, that we had somewhere that we could escape to, somewhere we could go out of, shut the door, but we were still in familiar surroundings. It was still our piece of territory. We were very lucky that we have a lot of friends, and they were tremendously supportive. And they used to call on a regular basis to come and visit Janet, so it was another benefit of her being at home. And there was many occasions where there'd be raucous laughter, all sorts of reminiscences of different goings on in the past and lighter moments. And that was an important part, I felt, of taking the sad side out of the situation we found ourselves in. We needed everything, and you're not being selfish by indulging in this little moment of pleasure or fun, if you like.
You're under such pressure all the time. You need a little bit of time to yourself. And the way I find that I can get that time to myself is to be on my bike. It sounds selfish, but to me it's so much more exhilarating. On a bike, you've got to have your wits about you, so your brain's getting preoccupied with other things. You're looking at the road, you're looking at your environment, and it's the only way you can sort of get out and get your mind on something else, even if it's only for half an hour. It's just that sheer pleasure. Your brain's not having to worry about what the kids are up to, how your wife's coping, is she still in pain. You've got that little bit of selfish time, and that to me is just, you can't put a price on it, really.
I think being able to do something I enjoy, which is writing. I love doing stories and putting words together just to make a sentence. I enjoy it all, and I use that to my advantage of getting my emotions out. One of my poems I put, I sit down and I cry into my pillow, creating a stain. And I put that, like what I do, and that way I'm understanding how I'm feeling myself. I don't know what I'm feeling. I'm 13. I don't even know half the words of what I'm feeling. So I put it down of what I actually do. I read it, and then I understand what part I'm actually feeling to be able to write that.
But I think it's so important that you keep a hold of these things that you've always enjoyed doing. You've got to keep hold of that.
That's nice, Daddy. It's beautiful, darling. You've got good touch.
Thank you. As a teenager, you need an escape route from ordinary life. And even if they're ridiculous programmes that you wouldn't be seen watching in front of your friends, you watch them anyway because it's just easy to watch, isn't it?
They've got to have some kind of normality given back to them. And if they're watching naff programmes on the telly, then so be it. They've got to be teenagers still at the end of the day, and you've got to be mindful that they're still only teenagers. You can't expect them to take on serious roles of caring and going through all the pressures that they have to put up with without some kind of outlet, and if that means treating them like 13-year-olds wanting to watch Hannah Montana, then so be it. You can't not let them watch it just for the sake of it. You've got to give them teenage time.
I don't like to see her having to spend so much time caring for me and looking after me. The strain must be terrible. I mean, she's a fantastic carer, fantastic wife, but it seems so hard on her.
Common sense said to me that you can't do everything, so eventually I accepted some help on cleaning the house. I was reluctant because I don't like somebody else coming in and doing something with my house, but it did make life easier for me, so I was glad I accepted that help. However, the family was saying, you need to get out. So one weekend, my daughter-in-law came and sat with Graham, and my son took me out. And that was the first time I'd been away from him in weeks since it happened. But it kind of showed us all that I must have a little bit of space to myself. And when some help was offered from the Marie Curie Foundation, somebody would come in once a week or more if I needed. So I really could get out. I think it was Graham that was reluctant on that to start with, because he didn't want me to go. But I said, you'll be all right. I'll just go. I need to get the shopping. And it's been a lifeline to me, that one day a week out. The Marie Curie people have been fantastic in that. Very efficient. And we've had one particular Marie nurse that's come almost every time. And Graham has got very used to her coming in.
I met a St. John's ambulance person down by your phone box.
Oh.
Who was lost because somebody had been moving all the signposts around again.
Obviously for my mum it was a very, very difficult experience. I mean, she's 76 and she was doing 24/7 nursing that a young nurse would find hard, but every single hour, every day and night she was on call. I mean, the support she got from the district nurses and from Marie Curie nurse and the GP and all that was amazing, but the actual constant up and down the stairs with drinks and this and food and all of that, I think was really hard. And then when we got to the point in the last week or so before he died of needing extra nursing care morning, evening, those nurses said, well, we really can't do the lifting on a double bed upstairs. It's just impossible for us to do that safely. So we really need a proper lifting bed. And at first we thought we would just replace the double bed upstairs. But actually when we thought about it, it just seemed more sensible to have it downstairs so that Dad could be back at the heart of the family home. And he knew that for her it would make a big difference, and he hated being a burden on her.
Good.
Okay, well
Dad?
But the determination he had to get back downstairs for Mum, I think, was absolutely remarkable. And once he was downstairs, he could relax because he wasn't worried about her going up and downstairs. Mum could relax because she didn't have to go up and downstairs all the time. So it meant that for the last week of his life, they were together, nearby, able to cope more easily with all the physical challenges of those last few days.
But this is going to give you a new lease of life. So we can have a few quiet days together with a kitchen just there.
Yeah.
I beat Annette to it with the pineapple this morning.